I'm Dr. Anthony Harper here, blessed to be with Sami Steigmann. And Sami, thank you for joining me on this crucial issue and uh, what you've experienced regarding the Holocaust. So, first of all, um, do you have a website about your experience?
Yes, I do. It's called SamiSpeaks.com.
Oh,
Okay. And I also have an email address, which you have it already, sami1939@gmail.com. And I call myself MD. I am not a doctor. I am media deficient. So everything, I post on Facebook. Unfortunately, young people get away from it. I also have an Instagram account, but the Instagram account is a shortened version of my Facebook. I don't know how to use it properly. Maybe the young kids that I will be on the March of the Living, going with them tomorrow, maybe some of them will be able to help me to learn how to do it.
okay. Well, please share with our audience about your experience connected to the Holocaust.
Okay. I am a Holocaust survivor. I am also a child of Holocaust survivors, which means both of my parents survived. At the same time, I am a motivational speaker, and I served in the Israeli Air Force in 1962, 1965. My mission in life is an acronym of a Hebrew word, emet, uh, means truth. And this is to educate the next generation. Okay, they are my hope and my future, to motivate them to be the best that they can be, to empower them to become upstanders. It's not sufficient to be knowledgeable how it happened. How was it possible that ordinary people from Germany, from Europe, and other countries found it not only acceptable, but required to annihilate one group of people, the Jewish people? It's difficult to understand. And I will go through some of the stages that people did not react in time appropriately, and it kept escalating to a point of no return. So it's important for me that the young people not only be knowledgeable, but to become active, okay, to become upstanders and to stand up to any, okay, injustice. And tolerance for me means to accept other people's opinion, other people's culture. Uh, I, okay, if you will ask any survivor, how come you're alive today? Uh, Everybody will use only one word, and that is luck. My luck was that I was never separated from my parents. I was in a labor camp, and 1.5 million children were murdered. And my luck was that being so young, only a year and a half, I was subjected to medical experiments. And the side effects, I feel them and will feel them for the rest of my life, every single second. But I'm coming from a generation that was very stoic, so you will not see it on my face. And at the same time, later on, I will tell you, okay, how a German woman saved my life. But let's talk about the medical experiments. Obviously, the doctors did not come to my parents and tell them, this is what we did to your son. But in 1971, my parents came from Israel to visit me in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where I live. For almost 31 years, I was able to hide from them the excruciating pain that I was on. Uh, After a short walk, my parents came back and saw me on the floor, almost unable to move. In shock, for almost 31 years, they did not know. My father mentioned to me that I was subjected to medical experiments. It did not help me with the pain, but it gave me the courage to ask for compensation. And I had absolutely no proof whatsoever. Number one, my parents told me that's hearsay. I was homeless. I did not have any documents. And when I applied in February 8, 2002, okay, I had no witnesses. Even my parents were gone. So I did not expect an answer, okay? to my surprise, based on their records, this is the most recorded crime in human history. They destroyed a lot of the records. But based on their records, not only did they answer, but they paid me a one-time payment, and that was 2,500 euros. Okay, and that came to over $5,000. But it gives me the opportunity to speak with confidence that I was subjected to medical experiments. I am suffering from head, neck, shoulders, and back. And today, because of my age, 85, I have other issues not related to that. But because it's not localized, they could not find a cure in my particular case. I never know where it starts, how long it will be there, where it will go, and I don't know the intensity. It can be excruciatingly painful or very mild. On the average, is 3 and 4. Let me tell you about the German woman. The camp is in today's Ukraine, former Soviet Union. Next to the camp, there was a farm owned by Germans. And she brought food to the guards and the SS, so she had access to go wherever she wanted. After they finished with the medical experiments, okay, there came a stage that I was dying of starvation. In their physical signs, big head, swollen stomach, swollen feet, and at the risk of her entire family, she decided to give me milk. And I talk about her. I was not able to honor her, but I talk about her because I want people not to stereotype, especially young people.
Oh, it is so troubling to hear this. I want to say that I and our Christian audience are sad that you've had to go through this, that all the pain that you're experiencing, and we pray that you will be healed and have full recovery and a very long life.
Thank you. Well, full recovery, no, but I adjusted, okay, and I can handle very well, okay, all the pain that I'm dealing with. And like I told you, I'm a very stoic person, and you will not see it on my face. Okay. Now, regarding the woman, we were not deported by the Germans, we were deported by Ukrainians, by the Romanians. I was born, okay, in an area of former Austro-Hungarian Empire called Bukovina. My mother and I were born there, but my father was born in Romania proper on June 22nd, 1941. Uh, on Operation Barbarossa, the Germans broke their agreement with the former Soviet Union, so attacked them. Behind them were the special killing groups, Einsatzgruppen, and behind them were the Romanian troops, and they annexed an area of former Soviet Union called Transnistria. That became part of Romania, and that's why it was reported by the Romanians and not by the Germans. Okay, when you want, okay, it's up to you. I will talk how the Holocaust escalated from zero to a point of no return, and when I started to speak.
It is a very troubling to hear about the impact of the Holocaust and what you have gone through. If you could further elaborate on those areas you'd like our audience to know
About what?
about your experience, some more about your experiences, and
Well,
what would you like to say to our Christian audience that supports Israel?
well, first of all, being so young, I have no memory of that period of time. And for me, it's a blessing in disguise that because I don't have to relive those horror stories every single day like the older generation. At the same time, until the Eichmann trial in 1961 in Israel, the Holocaust survivors did not speak publicly. And obviously, they wanted the children to have a normal childhood. Uh, on January 20, 1942, 15 high-ranking Nazi criminals got together in a city which today is part of Berlin, Wannsee, and decided the final solution to the Jewish question. That is the official date, okay, of the Holocaust. Holocaust, but it started with the end of World War I. Among the 15 high-ranking Nazi criminals, there was Adolf Eichmann. He was abducted from Argentina in 1961. He was tried in Israel. The trial was broadcast worldwide for 3 months, 3 hours every single day. And Adolf Eichmann was not one of the policymakers. He was the one that implemented it. Towards the end of the war in 1944, in only 2 months, Adolf Eichmann deported 437,000 Hungarian Jews to their deaths. Like I said before, until 2003, I felt I don't belong to the Holocaust survivors because my parents did not talk about it, except the fact that my father felt guilty. How come he did not save one of the family members? From 42 people, only 2 survived. Obviously, my father and my uncle. My uncle was not in a camp, in one of the 3 types of camp: concentration camp, labor camp, death camp. And in 1991, another group of people were also recognized as Holocaust survivors. And these are people that were hidden by strangers. They lived in the sewer for years, in the forest, and did whatever they could to escape the dire consequences. But I do not want anybody to make comparisons with the past, to learn from it, but not to make comparisons. As an example, today there are many countries that are accepting refugees. During the Nazi regime, there were only 3 countries that officially accepted Jewish refugees: Dominican Republic, China, and Philippines. My uncle was a refugee in Shanghai. To tell you why and when I started to speak, the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. closes doors to the general public once a year for 2 days. Okay, it opened it up only to the Holocaust survivors, their children, and their liberators. For 16 years in a row, I never went. On November 1st and November 2nd of 2003, I decided to go. And interestingly enough, there were over 8,000 people from all over the world in the table where I was sitting. I met a man born in the same city, been in the same camp, the same years, 1941, 1944. He was deported when he was 8 months old. I was deported when I was a year and a half. And that's the difference between history and living history. By talking to him, I finally decided not to ignore anymore being a Holocaust survivor and a child of Holocaust survivors. And in 2007, since I live in New York, I joined the Holocaust Museum downtown Manhattan. And in 2008, I got my first assignment to speak to 6th graders. Obviously, I did not feel that I have a compelling story, but I knew one thing: I know more than 6th graders. And again, meant to be, they sent me thank you letters, each one better than the other. But one 6th grader wrote, "P.S. Your story was overwhelming, and I promise I'll pass your story to my children." It would be, I realized that I have something that I must share with the young people. And because of her, I am dedicating right now, dedicating my life to reach as many young people as I can.
Wonderful, inspirational story, Sami, and I appreciate you sharing with our viewers. If you could be at the White House right now, and I know President Trump is talking a lot about combating anti-Semitism, or beating back the efforts of Hamas, what would you say to President Trump?
I would say one thing to him. Okay, regarding, if you want later, I can tell you about how I felt about October 7th. But the one interesting thing is, Donald Trump is very pro-Israel. He has the most pro-Israel administration, in my opinion. However, he is giving Bibi, okay, a free hand to do what Bibi has to do. in my personal opinion, no matter what Bibi will do, he will always be criticized, will not be accepted.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, just like, for instance, with proclaiming Jerusalem, the capital of Israel, everybody said there will be a war and people will be outraged and everything else. Once the United States declared that, once Trump did it, everybody's accepting it. So it's not a problem. So I'm saying instead of asking Bibi to do what he has to do, okay, I think that it behooves the United States to do what has to be done to get rid of Hamas and with Iran, not leave it up to Israel. And other countries, if he does it, okay, other countries will follow him.
There is some more information about what you're doing, and I hope that President Trump will respond to these issues, and we continue to pray for him to make the right decisions to be a blessing to Israel. What website further for people for further information to contact you or whatsoever?
So they have my website. And by the way, I do not fight only Jew hatred. I fight hate. And I spoken on behalf of the Uyghur people. I don't know if your audience knows about them. In the former Soviet Union, when the Jews wanted to escape the dire consequences, they went to the south, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan. In Uzbekistan lived Muslims, the Uyghurs, and their language is close to the Turkish one, and they accepted with the Jews, okay, with open arms. And in China, about 3 years ago, they started deporting them in. And I told them when I spoke at their national rally in Washington, D.C., that you will not accomplish anything unless you can convince the United States to declare what's happening in China, genocide. Bring the media with you. The media is complicit. What's happening today in this country and worldwide. And they listened to me. I don't know how they did it, but United States declared the genocide. In other countries have accepted it. And that's why I don't know how President Trump will hear my opinion that he has to do things, not leave it up to Bibi. I don't know how he will get that message, but if he does it, the world will accept it. If Israel does it, it will not be accepted.
I know. Well, there's this serious issue with Iran. My understanding is that Israel would be, the U.S. would support Israel bombing Iran if that's what's necessary. And um, a lot of people are very nervous about what's going to be happening next.
Okay, correct. But I'm saying again, if Israel does it, okay, there will be a lot of backlash. Okay. However, if the United States does it, like he declared Jerusalem, the capital of Israel, and it was accepted, like the United States declared what's happening in China as genocide, and people have accepted it. If United States does what has to be done, okay, that will be accepted. Okay. But if Bibi does it, I have doubts.
Okay, the U.S. is ready and poised to do that, to attack Iran right now. And so we eagerly to see what will develop from this. Once again, please repeat your website for our viewers.
Sami, Sami speaks, one word, .com. And
Thank
by
you.
the way, yeah,
Go
by
ahead.
the way, there is an audio app, Clubhouse, okay. But 5 years ago, I answered questions for 16 hours straight. If you will go on under the press, column press, you will see an NBC article.
Well, thank you once again. Website SamiSpeaks.com. And thank you for sharing your story. So important for people to hear. And thank you for joining me today and sharing this with our audience.
And Dr. Harper, I am very honored that you invited me to be on your podcast. And if the audience is interested, we can have another one and to go into more details. Okay, there is so much to talk about.